Alright, so I'm back here working on the truck, and right now I'm getting ready to cut down the new cab corner. So I'm not going to put this whole piece on. I mean, maybe I probably should, but you know, this is all, that thing goes way up to here, and this is all solid up here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the new one right on this line here, right along here, in hopes that, you know, it'll hide some of that, because it's kind of a seam area anyway. Not a seam, but there will be a seam there. But if I can use this natural contour here to kind of hide the weld, and then I'll cut it off on the side here as well. And again, my side on this is solid too. It's just this lower portion that's shot. So like I said, I'm not going to go all the way up. I'm just going to go right here. So what I got to do is cut this one off, and then we'll set up there and see if we have to make any other adjustments on the side area or where it's going to land down here. And I know I got to cut this here, straighten this out a bit so the corner will match up to it. And the corner will go all the way in against this here, so we'll be grinding this paint off here so we have some good metal to weld to. But again, that's all solid. I cut all the rust out of it already, so let me go ahead and get this cut, and we'll go from there and see what it looks like once we put it up there. Because the problem is right now is I'm putting it up here, but with this trim here in the way, I can't really get a sense of how well it's going to fit where it needs to fit. Sorry about that. How well it's going to fit until I can, you know, just cut the piece off and go from there. So let's just stop babbling and get this cut. All right, so I cut it off. Hopefully about where I wanted it. I know it's a little bit lower than the seam here, but that's okay. We're going to blend it in anyway. So let's just go ahead and see how this is going to fit into position here. I'm going to go ahead and put the camera down here so I can mess around with this here, and hopefully you can kind of see what I'm trying to do here. This is my new piece here. It's going to go on right about like that. It's a little lower than I wanted. But I'm probably going to draw a line there and cut part of that other stuff off. And then that'll go right up in there. And of course, I'm going to cut this off too over here. Hopefully you can see what I'm pointing at. Right here, I'm going to cut the rocker off and butt this up to it and weld that in. Yeah, the right thing to do would be to cut the underneath off, so this will sink in where it's supposed to a little bit better. So I gotta make some marks here. If I were to cut this off, it's sitting right there. I'm gonna probably remove this into here a little bit. That way this piece will sit back where it's supposed to sit, because you know, this is this here. If I stick it on top, I'm just doubling up what's there. I can do that and blend this in with Bondo up here, but if I can get rid of some of this and recess it in a little bit better on these edges here, then I will do that, because it'll make for a nicer look, a little less work. So we're going to go ahead and cut out some of this here. I'm not going to cut on the back here. I'm just going to cut this front piece out here so we can bring this front in the position where it needs to be. Just cut right here. Right about where I have my line, and I cut in this edge here. So the only holding it now really is the component underneath there, that stuff that they use to help cut back on vibration, stuff like that. So go ahead and get that pulled out of there, and then of course we're going to want to remove this because we don't want any fires from welding and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and figure out how we're going to do this without making a mess. But let me just tuck this in here for a minute. Let's see how that new one fits up there now. Now I didn't cut this down here yet where it needs to be cut, so that's still going to catch on us, but let's just see if this is going to land roughly the way we want it. Let me put the camera down. And look at that. So that is going to work really nice, and you can see, I don't know if it'll stay there or not. Like I said, I did not cut the corner all the way in back there. But now we have a flat finish here. It's going to be a lot less body work to do to make this look good out here. And again, I'm not looking for perfection here. That's why I'm not too worried about back here. Now I might cut off more of this piece so it's not sticking out back there, like cut it down at an angle where it's still solid on the truck here. And then over here we just gotta really tap it in there good and weld this all up good. And of course it's being held out a little bit because we're not done here. But this is what I was looking for, a very close, a butt joint. I didn't want an overlap, at least on this outer portion here, because you're going to see it. And then down underneath here, because once we get it welded, we'll clamp this up against like that. It'll all pull in nice and tight, just like I did the rocker panel. I clamped everything along the top here, welded it, brought the clamps underneath, clamped all this, and welded it. And now we got a solid rocker panel in place. Just an update, I know originally I said I was going to cut at an angle back here, but it turns out if I go under the truck here, hopefully I'll point the camera at the right spot. But you can see this is the, right here, okay, so there's the new piece and there's the truck. I can get in there with a welder when I clamp this tight. So I think I'm just going to leave this because I think I can go all the way up here. And once it's clamped tight against the truck, I believe I can weld this all the way down. So that doubles it up. And underneath here, I don't care about it being doubled up. And you can see under here how it's going to look. If I can get the sun so it's not so bright there. It's going to be, pinched up tight here. And then, of course, here, I just got to cut out that other side. So the other part of the rocker panel so it goes up nice and tight. So that's what we're going to work on next, is getting this to fit in nice and good. I cut this off here, and I took the time to clean all around the edges, and I beveled this in a little bit here. Did clean the paint and stuff, or the primer stuff they put on it for shipping off. I'm not going to be welding today, but you'll see it probably all in one video. But basically, I'm going to just put this up in place now and see how it lines up with this and this now, and how well it's going to sit into this position here. Or am I going to have to remove this? I hope not. I hope I can just, go right up on top of it, because you're not going to see any of this, when the door is closed. So let's see if I can just do this with one hand here real quick and see what it's going to look like. So that's going to go up like that. Alright, so one hand is not too easy. Alright, I'm going to put the camera down here. Hopefully I have it aimed at my, it should be aimed here. So basically I'm just trying to line this cut up here, which looks pretty close. And then this will line up, whoops, too far, like that. So that's pretty good there still. So if I were to weld that there, once I'm ready, can I pull this in? This is pretty tight here, and I know I can pull that in there, even if I have to put a board in here and have someone hold it, pull it tight. When I weld that back strip, that'll work too. And I'll probably bring it out here and put a bend on it too, so it's a little bit tighter back there. So assuming this is welded, the question is, can I get this here? You can see what I'm talking about. So this is lined up pretty nicely here. It's lined up nicely here. If I were to weld that, can I pull this in without causing any issues? That's kind of what I'm just trying to see here. So kind of hold this and see, will that pull in? Or am I hitting other, the original corner post, cab corner that's caused me problems? But it looks like I'm going to be able to get that in there pretty darn close. So you can see now, I'm not really pushing that hard, but right there, I am pretty close. I can see what's happening. I mean, this is really close here, and when I push this in, it's actually pushing up on this, making this a little bit tighter here. So I'm going to go ahead and trim down the truck, because I can see I ended up getting a little wider here. So I'm going to kind of grind that down a little bit, but I did have this really just about perfect there at one point. I don't know if you can see it. It's still got to go in a little bit more, but with a little trimming, you can see what's happening up here. I'm creating a gap on one side and overlapping here. So I'm going to trim this down a little bit, and then we should be pretty good to getting ready to put that in there. I'm getting very close here. You can see I'm still pretty good here, and I am much better over here now. And I can actually, once everything else is welded, I can pull this in. So it's just about flush on this front here. And that's perfect. And then of course I'm going to weld all along here, here, the bottom, and then I'll get in behind from underneath and weld that back piece as well, the back edge of the cab corner here. So we're getting close. Might actually do this tomorrow, maybe tonight, I'm not sure. But we're definitely making progress. Just going to do a quick walk around of where the truck stands now, and then I'll do an after one as well. I want to get these all cleaned up and looking good as well at some point. Now, I've already done some work, you know, the rocker panel, and I got the corner post, the cab corner ready to be welded in. Right now it's just sitting there. But this is what the truck looks like right at the moment. All this white you see is layers of old wax that I threw on to help protect some of the bare metal in different spots. Now of course the fenders here are fiberglass, but it was wax that was no good, I had to throw away. So this is what it's looking like at the moment. I use this truck, you know, I get wood, and so it's not a truck that just sits around. Well, it does sit around a lot, but I do use it. And I'll try to get up here on the roof here, you can see. So I'll be taking that light bar off too, temporarily, to clean the roof up and get that painted as well. You can see it's had a lot of wear. I mean, the clear coat, once that clear coat started going, everything else started going right after it.